Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here today. My name is Keely Denenberg. I'm Senior VP of Client Solutions at Orange Grove Consulting. And today I am joined by Dr. Kelly Watson, co-managing partner of Orange Grove. Hi, Kelly. How are you?
I
So today we're going to talk a little bit about our leadership development programs and how they might be a little different and the way in which we develop them. So, Kelly, adults learn differently than children do. So I'm wondering if you can briefly share with us how adults are different than children in the ways that they learn.
Yeah, thanks for the question. I think it's really important because, we don't base our program on the typical sort of sage on the stage lecturing because that's not how adults learn. Adults come to the table with an existing base of knowledge and experience that we're trying to tap into. They know why they're learning, and so their motivation is a lot higher than children. And it's often beneficial to let them work it out for themselves. So the role of teacher is different. We're, more of the mentor or the coach or the, guide on the side than someone who's actually sort of imparting information. And I think that's different from how a lot of organizations think about how they develop training.
Yeah, excellent point. So we are following an adult learning or adult learning theories. We integrate a few. Can you tell us a little bit about what that means?
Yeah, so there are different adult learning theories, and they're, based in the research and the literature, and they're best suited for different things. So, for example, we have andragogy, and this is where adults, the assumption is that adults are autonomous and self-directed, and they're seeking out learning based on personal needs, and they have to be able to apply what they're learning practically. So that's great for problem solving and structured formal learning, and with a defined need to know. We also have transformative learning or transformational learning. It goes by both of those names. And this is where actually adults will go through a process where their entire world paradigm gets shifted. So it generally is they come into the experience with a particular set of assumptions, and then through a process that usually starts with something disruptive, so sort of a crucible moment, and then pure discourse, they work themselves through this transformative moment. And that's really good for long-term personal growth, and for shifting people's, base assumptions. So you think about cognitive behavioral therapy, that does a lot of the same thing. It's about shifting and reframing assumptions. And so we do a lot of that as well. And then finally, one of our other favorite adult learning theories is experiential learning. This is really important for things like leadership skills, process improvement, change management, systematic thinking. And that's because they're they must experience a hands-on sort of learning by doing environment. And we do that in how we structure all of our courses based on activities that are then scaffolded with enough content to get them to the activity, and then the debrief, which is really where the learning gets solidified. So that gives you just a little sense of how we're actually baking in adult learning theory to how we design our courses for adults.
Wonderful. And that's really how we're integrating the content that we're showing or to guiding people through during the workshop. I want to add that when we have a program with multiple workshop, we're also integrating it into the intersession where we've got accountability partners and people are discussing again that adult, kind of discussion about learning. And then they're practicing with low stakes assignments the work that they've been taught and applying those skills. So it extends past the actual workshop content into the intersession content, which I think is important when people are trying to apply what they've learned.
Mm.
So,
The
well, thank you,
workplace is a
Kelly.
great place for that.
That is true. That is true. There's lots of ways to apply those skills. Thank you, Kelly. Check back to our YouTube channel for more short conversations like this. Thank you.